So, good morning to you from my humble little home in Phuket. Today is a public holiday in Thailand. It is, in fact, the Queen Mother's birthday. She was the wife of the former King of Thailand, King Rama IX, King Bhumibol Adulyadej. Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother, is 89 years old today. The former king and the beautiful Sirikit were married in 1950. What's that? 71 years ago. So she's okay, and she's 89. A couple of years ago, they released some photos of her on the occasion of her birthday. Let's hope they do that again. Just hold on the questions for the moment because I'm going to get through some of the headlines today, just to bring you up to date with what is happening in Thailand. And the ferry service running from the running across the Gulf of Thailand between Hua Hin and Pattaya hasn't been operating since last year due to the COVID-19 situation, but it now appears that it may never restart. The Royal Passenger Liner Company was operating as the sole operator for that route and the only ferry service utilising the Bali High Pier in Pattaya. Yesterday, the Mayor of Pattaya City announced that the ferry company had requested a cancellation of the contract from the port. So it looks like they may be the former ferry crossing the Gulf of Thailand between Hua Hin and Pattaya. As far as the Sandbox is concerned, a heavy tourism marketing drive will be launched overseas to spread the message of Phuket being safe following the murder of a Swiss woman, and as the United States placed Thailand on the list of countries with a COVID-19 alert. And this is from the TAT, the Tourism Authority of Thailand. They state that the murder case has no immediate impact on tourism bookings at this stage. They said the message must be put out urgently with a heavy marketing campaign to be implemented. So I don't know how much money people are making on the island of Phuket at the moment, but it looks like the TAT are going to be throwing more money at campaigning the island as open and as the Sandbox re-entry into Thailand. Also down in Phuket, following the outbreak of COVID-19 infections, officials have closed down the Phuket Town Fresh Market number 1 and the surrounding area for a week, as well as the downtown plaza until August the 22nd. 27 COVID infections were discovered at the market last week. Just going through the COVID numbers for today, because I'm sure people are going to ask. Just bringing those numbers up, published on the Thaiger.com. And today there's been 147 COVID-related deaths announced and 22,782 infections, back up there in the 22,000s again after, well, at least a few days down under 20,000. There have been 23,649 patients released from hospital or field hospital in the past 24 hours. Some 495 patients are currently in hospital in a critical condition, and 1,103 patients on artificial respiration. So we wish those people the very best for a speedy recovery, hopefully. On to some other news. Kratom has been legalised, with Kratom being removed from the list of illegal narcotics in Thailand. Kratom is sort of a leaf. It's a very bitter leaf that people like to chew, mix into drinks. What's been released from the official list of narcotics officially from August the 24th, according to the Office of Narcotics. They say the charges will be dropped or cleared for over 8,000 people who were previously charged for taking or using or trafficking Kratom. About 1,000 people who'd been convicted of use, sale or possession of the plant traditionally used in herbal medicines will have their convictions overturned and purged from their record. Also, 2 new homegrown COVID vaccines that would be delivered via a nasal spray are going to be starting human trials in Thailand by the end of this year. Officials say the vaccines already had promising results using mice. Good luck to the mice. The nasal spray, imagine this huge nasal spray in a tiny little mouse nostril. The nasal spray was developed by the National Centre for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology. The vaccines are based on the adenovirus and influenza. Right, let's get to some of your questions. I've got a few more headlines and also responds to some of your comments that you sent in yesterday. So we'll get to those. Jeff Howard, welcome. You're a Tiger Cub. Thank you, Jeff. Great to have you on board. Let's go. Now, a lot of these messages have just gone and flowed past, so all I can do is really catch up with where you are at the moment. From Lawyers, Guns and Money, Mr. Pava, is Astra recognised then? See, they're talking to each other again. That really throws me. From Ralph, question, do you know the COVID-19 situation in Udon Thani? I can find that information very quickly for you. Just give me a few moments. We do publish as best we can every day on the Thaiger.com, usually sort of early in the afternoon, the provincial numbers. Just scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down. If the NBT don't publish the numbers, then we don't have the numbers to publish. This is from yesterday. So Udon Thani, which is in the northeast, let me give you those numbers. Udon Thani, 151 new COVID infections announced yesterday. Ubon Ratchathani had 420. So the situation in the northeast, just looking across these numbers, seems that they're coping with it. The numbers in the 200 or 300s at the most, and in some places like Buon Khan, Mukdahan, Roy Et, Nong Khai below 100. So that's the situation in Udon Thani. Don't ask me every province in Thailand, please. Who is that standing behind you? There's no one standing behind me. Don't try and bother me, Kev. Oh, I'm not going to fall for your tricky little games. From Wapum, a question, and it is: Have you had the jab yet, or booked in at least? Yes, I've had one AstraZeneca vaccine. I had that about a month and a half ago. I'm going in for my second vaccine in about 2 weeks. Both of them up at Terminal X, which is the charter terminal at the Phuket airport. Okay, down to Jay, a member. Thank you, Jay. The question, I'm coming to Phuket on October 2. Can I swing by and buy a Tiger shirt? Yes, you can buy a Tiger shirt. I tell you what, Jay, if you turn up and you buy me a coffee, I'll give you a shirt. So just book a long way ahead because I tend to get fairly busy. Nice to have you with us, Jay, and good luck with your travels. I missed the live shows. I felt part of the community. Just let me, this is one. Question, your huge air conditioner. Yes, this is an older style house. I do love this house for many reasons, including the large garden, and it's relatively inexpensive, and it's in a great community, sort of right in the middle of Phuket, so it's very handy. But we do have some old remnants like that old air conditioner. In its defense though, I don't know what the BTU is, but it doesn't cost that much to run, and it's very efficient. So what do? It's very good. From Jeff, another member. Hi Jeff, thanks for being part of the club. Can you do another fundraiser? We love to support Thailand. Yeah, the fundraiser, we're actually going about trying to get the monies paid. We have to get them from one account in another country into accounts in Thailand. That's not always easy, especially when it is a charity and you have to be transparent with all the transactions, but we're doing most of that today, and we'll have some video with the people as we do the handovers and announce all those results. But I think in the end we raised about 50,000 Singapore dollars, which was a great effort when we had a target of about 41,000. But we did have a set time for that. If we do another charity in the future, I think we'll probably do it quite differently. But thank you so much for the people that were involved and were able to help. It's truly appreciated. When did the Tiger show start again? Dirty old man. This is just a bit of a once-off. We are considering doing more live shows. They are complicated from the point of view of monetization on YouTube, from the point of view of production, and also the skill set of people like me and the other people involved to do a decent, sustainable show for you every day. Plus, there are problems with YouTube that we can't really solve, and it doesn't really make it a a great product for us. That's sort of the easiest way of trying to explain that. Ben Hill, question, great shirt, are they available in men's? This is a men's, what are you saying? Yes, they are, and they also, on the back, where I'll turn around for you, there we are. Join the conversation. Okay, good morning from Perth. Hi, Dave O. Missing Abel, like her strong opinion and insight. Thing is, you don't like our opinions. Every time one of us says an opinion, the comment section goes absolutely mental and brutal sometimes. So we think at the Thaiger it's just easy for us to shut up and deliver the news and leave all the opinions to you. Because anytime we express an opinion, you don't like it. And let's face it, we're going to disenfranchise part of our audience, whatever opinion we express. So we're trying to find a way to have engagement as a news organisation, which is difficult, but also try and get some civility into the comments. Very difficult. Warpum Gaming, make the morning show a members only chat and cash in. Yeah, we thought about that, and there's some 400 or 500 people who are members of the Thaiger. Should we be doing a program for 500 people, or should we be doing it for 50,000 people? That's a really interesting question. And when you say cash in, it's not quite as easy as you might think, but we understand what you're saying, and yeah, we'll probably have a think about that. Tim, don't worry about presentation, just keep the live shows going. They're good even with the hiccups. Usually lots of hiccups. From George Orwell, question, will there be any new classes and licenses on the new government copulation positions? Well, we discussed the Corona Sutra the other day on Good Morning Thailand with Jay, and people did seem to enjoy that discussion. Well, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that. I can't believe, sincerely, that people actually sat down and drew those drawings or discussed ways of not spreading coronavirus whilst having sex, but they did. Blue Sky Roy, question, can you buy alcohol in Phuket? Yes, you can. You can't consume it at a restaurant. The restaurant's open until 9 p.m. That is one of the recent restrictions that came in about 3 weeks ago, but you can go into any 7-Eleven or convenience store, Family Mart, supermarket, and you can buy alcohol, yes. Not agreeing with guests is not disliking. Okay, so hit the likes, guys. Okay. More volume possible. No, I've got this little mic here. Is this mic working? Hello, testing, testing. Or are you hearing me through the phone mic? You should be hearing me through this mic. I can't adjust the volume, I'm sorry. You might need to turn it up at your end. By the way, noise-wise, I've got a fan about 2 meters away from me. I've also got a side door open because at any stage, the plumber could be arriving because we're doing a kitchen makeover, which I'll share with you at some time. And the plumber's coming in to remove sinks and taps and things today. So he could be arriving at any moment. Stephen Bloom says, Tim, every restaurant I have been in will sell you a drink under the table. Don't tell anybody, Stephen. But yeah, I figure that's going to happen. Tim, let's see the pool. You already want to? Come with me. Now, just to explain, this pool cost me a total of $600, 600 Australian dollars. It's about 1.3 meters high, 5 meters across, and it's the best 12,000 baht I ever spent. I do love the pool, and I get in there literally every day. And the 12,000 baht included the filter, the ladder, all the piping, the power plugs, ground sheet. The only thing I had to spend in addition to that was for the water. How's this phone going? Is it heating up? No, it still seems to be okay. All right, Napster says, sounds good. Thanks, Napster. We had another question from a member there, from Shanio Traveller. He was joking, sound all good. Don't joke with me about things like that. Jeff Howard, lav mic sounds great. Thanks, Jeff. As long as you can hear us, that's the main thing. I'll give you a few more, while you're just chatting to yourselves, a few more headlines today. There's been some really big rain in Surat Thani. Surat Thani is a southern province. It's about a 3-hour drive from Phuket up to the north, over towards the coast. There's been big rain there. Raging currents of floodwater has swept away the roof of a shop in Surat Thani province. Due to the heavy rain, water from the Nur Klong waterfall flowed down the mountain yesterday. If you go to, where is it? I think it's on the Thaiger.com, and there's video connected. If it's not, we'll make sure it's there a bit later, but the video is quite dramatic. Also, there's been a petition to prevent the use of rubber bullets. This follows a lot of the protests around Bangkok over the past couple of weeks. After being injured by rubber bullets, police fired at people clearly marked as members of the press. A journalist with +7 and a photographer from the matter have filed a lawsuit against the Thai police. Now, the civil court has responded, throwing out their petition to stop police from using rubber bullets as part of crowd control during protests. And also about the Bangkok protest, the military could be called in to help quell violence at rallies if the situation gets out of hand during the current spate of anti-government protests. The Metropolitan Police Bureau say police will stick to using tear gas and rubber bullets if needed. We really don't want to see the army coming to the protests. That's not the way we want to see it. It's just started raining here, and let me tell you, when it rains in Phuket during the wet season, it usually pours, and that is heavy rain indeed. But the garden's looking great. I have to mow the lawn at least twice a week at the moment. Ben, rubbers, bullets, and okay, good. If I'm lucky, I might be able to move there someday. I'm thinking of going to Chiang Mai. This is Anthony. Chiang Mai is a lovely part of the world. There's so many different flavors you can have here in Thailand if you're thinking of moving here for a short time or a long time, from the southern islands to places like Chiang Mai, which is more up in the hills in northern Thailand. Of course, you've got the bustling Bangkok and places like Pattaya, and sort of emerging seaside towns like Hua Hin, which are really kicking on at the moment. Good morning from Germany, says, hey Mark. Could you do a report from inside the pool, asks Mark G. Yes, but I will be fully clothed. Lawyers, guns and money, military. No, I've lost that one. It's disappeared immediately, as happens as I scroll down. David Gardner says, hi Tim, happy Mother's Day. Thank you very much. I'm not a mother, but thank you. I'm sure Her Majesty the Queen Mother will appreciate your good wishes. I know you're not a mother, but thanks for reporting on the news on this holiday. David from Bangkok, originally from California. What is that noise? There's cats around, anything could happen. Lee Mac, question, is there any way to get to Pattaya besides a long road trip? At the moment, I understand there are still flights out of Phuket to Utapao Airport, which is about a 45-minute drive from Pattaya. Now, even though the Utapao Airport is now in a dark red zone, the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand have given Nok Airways permission to fly limited flights, I think still to 5 destinations, including Phuket. So jump onto the Nok Air website, and I think you can still book. It might only be 1 flight a day from Phuket to Utapao Airport. Otherwise, yes, it's a long road trip. Michael Shakora, a member, nice to have you with us. Question, did the health department ever vaccinate the construction workers forced to quarantine? If not, why not? Michael, we're trying to get a handle on this particular issue. They have locked up most worker sites in Thailand, certainly the ones in the dark red zones and red zones, and also here in Phuket, which is currently an orange zone. Vaccination of those migrant workers, I would think, would be a priority. I don't believe it currently is. From Sick Puppy, also a member, good evening from San Francisco. Welcome to you. That mustard green though, you don't like it? Who said this? M. Maranta. I call it sage, okay? It's a relaxing sort of colour. It also matches the cushions and it matches the sage green of Phuket. Why doesn't Jet join live? Jet doesn't get out of bed until about 6 p.m. in the afternoon, so we couldn't possibly get him onto this program. We're thinking of sort of doing a Bangkok, Phuket thing. I mean, I'll eventually get back to Bangkok when it's safe to do so, but at the moment it's not. Shanio Travel, question, is the Sandbox successful at this point of time? Wow, that is a really difficult question to answer. And if you're the TAT, the answer would be yes. If you are a shop owner in Phuket, the answer is probably no. If you are the owner of a few special hotels around the island, the answer would be okay. If you are the owner of a small guest house in Patong, the answer would be definitely no. From my perspective, they have found a way to get travellers to come back to Thailand. About 50% of them are what you would regard as tourists. But the numbers are starting to wane after the initial flow, and some 200 or so people are arriving each day. Some of the early flights that were planned have now been cancelled. Unfortunately, bad timing, the Phuket Sandbox has also matched a rise of COVID cases right around Thailand, including Phuket. So the Sandbox is still open. It is still a way of getting into Thailand. But the rise of international tourists for this island has also been commensurate with a drop in domestic tourism, because domestic tourists literally can't get here anymore. They can't cross the bridge even if they've been vaccinated. So is Phuket better off because of the Sandbox? I don't really know. But if you believe the publicity from the Tourism Authority of Thailand, the answer is definitely yes. And we will continue to report from the Sandbox. Where is Stephanie? Sick puppy? You are a sick puppy indeed. Stephanie's alive and well. I think she's trying to get to Chiang Mai at the moment. So what can I tell you? Hi Tim, do you think international travel will be back to normal in Thailand a year from now? This is David Kiernan. David, I don't know what's going to be happening around the world for international travel tomorrow, let alone next year. If you go to worldometers.info, where we get our COVID numbers for the world, you will see that there is currently what we would describe as a major third wave underway around the world. But that third wave is also happening at the same time. A lot of countries are now rolling out their vaccinations. So yes, there is a rise in new cases. There is also the start of a rise of deaths as well. But at the moment, it looks like the number of deaths is going to be much lower during this third wave, as both the treatment and understanding of COVID-19 improves, and also the vaccines start to take effect, where people can still catch COVID, but they won't get critically ill from it, and hopefully not die. That's my best answer. I don't know. Will we be back to normal in a year? Probably don't think so. I really don't think so. What else have we got? Scrolling down, and off we go again. Stephanie must be going to see Jet. No, she's not. She doesn't even know Jet. She's going to Chiang Mai, I think. Oh, that's right. Jet's in Chiang Mai. Ben, you might be onto something. Azraland 78, can you go to Chiang Mai from Phuket after 14 days? Yes, after spending 14 days in Phuket, you could hire a car or check those Nok Air flights. You could fly to Utapao Airport and catch a connecting flight to Chiang Mai. Yes, you could do that, and you'd be able to spend as much time as your visa allows in Chiang Mai. There's still ways and means of doing things, and there's still buses, not the big national buses, but sort of small tour buses. You're going to pay premium for them at the moment, but you can still get around the country if you really want to. Okay, Hey Mark says, I have also been doing short messages in German in Thailand for 9 months for German-speaking people. I've obviously missed that thread. I don't know what you're talking about. Stephen K says, Tim, I would love to buy you a coffee sometime. It would mean the world is heading back to normal. People have coffees with me every day. It's not that normal or even interesting. Dirty Old Man has a statement in capital letters. Thailand has experienced its first true wave. Hopefully they will take advantage of the vaccines to avoid future waves. Yeah, look, they're rolling out the vaccines as fast as they can. I think supply is the critical problem here, whether they want to admit that or not. Stephanie and Jet are sitting in a tree. Ha ha ha. All right, question, brother, says Eddie Riviera. Will I be able to travel to my home in Chiang Rai after doing the Sandbox for 14 days? Yes, you've just got to find out how to get there. You can hire a car and drive there, but that's going to take you probably the best of 2 days. Otherwise, you could, as I was suggesting earlier, you can get those Nokia flights out of Phuket to Utapao, and then from Utapao to Chiang Mai and catch a bus or a taxi. There may, they were talking about adding Chiang Rai flights from Utapao as well, but going to the Nokia site will reveal all about that one at the moment. Hi from Washington DC. Sick puppies back again. Sisaket jump up to 625 cases today. Never thought I would see that area so high. Not good. Thanks, Sick Puppy, for the update. Rusty Grave says Thailand has never been normal, even long before COVID. And that's true, and that's probably one of the reasons we love living here. It's an adventure every day. It's a country literally like no other. I call it home. I'm very happy and grateful to be living here, and this is now my home. Green wall and all. Okay, let's keep on going through these. I'm not sure if you're enjoying this. I'm doing my best to try and bring you up to date with information. Chloroquine or quinine will do the trick. Not sure what you're talking about. Maybe malaria. M. Maranta, you can't fly from Phuket to CNX. No, there are no direct flights at the moment from Phuket to Chiang Mai. At the moment, I understand the only airline running a connecting flight is from Phuket to Utapao and then Utapao to CNX. Mark G says, I need an XXL Thaiger shirt. Will that cost me 2 coffees? Yeah, or we could just tie 2 shirts together. I don't know, there's ways we can do it. But yeah, probably 2 coffees. FFSFSS says, am on the government list for expats waiting for my first jab already, nearly 3 weeks, no email yet. All I can say for expats or travellers, foreigners here in Thailand who are trying to get the vaccination, persist, persist, persist. Eventually it will pay off. It may not be as smooth as in other countries, but once you get there, I think you'll be surprised how well they roll the vaccine out, and I think they've been doing largely a good job. As I said, I think the major problem, and they won't sort of admit this, is the supply. Shania Travellers back again, hoping for a 6-week holiday late 2022 to see what's left of the tourist industry. Let's hope by 2022 some of the tourist industry may be starting to recover, but it's going to be a long haul. I've said before, I'll say it again, that the 2019 numbers, some 40 million travellers coming to Thailand, we're not going to see that in Thailand for at least another decade, if ever. The tourism industry in Thailand, such an important part of the economy, up to some 20% of GDP, whether directly or indirectly, has had a huge hit. And no matter what they do to bring the tourists back, I think international travel has changed forever. And that the one thing the virus needed to spread so quickly around the world was cheap international travel. And I think there's going to be a lot of changes in people's minds and in the aviation industry. Suck Mike Hock says, Tim and the Tiger, thank you for doing these live streams. A pleasure, happy to do it. It's 3:30 in the UK, says Audio Jack 2, time for your bed. Are the cats with you? Come here, Dina. I'll go and get one. We have to have a cat, don't we? Come here. Yes, come here. You're going to come with me. Up we come. This is the new kitten. This is Dina, who strolled into the house about 2 months ago as a little kitten. She's growing up very quickly. She's about 4.5 months old. Sorry, Dina. Look at the tail of this thing, would you? Look at it. She's damp and wet and not very happy about being part of the show. Don't chew on the mic lead. That's not going to help. As the camera is shaking, that's because Dina is pulling on the microphone cable. Why did I bother? Dina. Cats. I'm a dog person. I got 4 cats. I don't know what happened. I think you've buggered the thing up, I think, Dina. There we are. We'll put it back up there. Okay, live stream. Cool. Hello from California, USA, says, walking in my shoes. And she's a pretty nitty. Yes, she's a very pretty little cat. She's a bit moist at the moment because she's been outside playing in the grass, and she'll now spend the next half hour giving herself a wash and cleaning up. Question, is there a beer duopoly in Thailand? Where are the microbrews? Actually, there are a few smaller breweries and what do we call them? Boutique beers appearing, and boutique other alcoholic products. They tend to pop up from time to time. Obviously, there is a big duopoly as far as the beer consumption here in the country. I'm not really a beer expert. Other people will be able to answer that better. But yeah, you do sort of see those micro beers and the small boutique beers popping up from time to time. Good luck to them. Tim, can you bring Bill back with the charts and graphs? You can go to C9 Hotel Works and you can see as many graphs as you like at Bill's website. Don't chew on the mic is a phrase I did not expect to hear from the Thaiger today. Fair comment, James. She's now sitting about 2 meters away, chewing on the dining room chair. My life. Do you think there will ever be visas on arrival again? Yes, I think once the situation improves, Thailand's going to be desperate to get tourists back into the country, and I think they'll probably ease a lot of the previous restrictions on visas, maybe improve the immigration upon arrival so that somebody might even smile at you and welcome you to the country, but that's all yet to come. They really need to open the country first before they can even look at that. Question, what do you think about the restriction of dark red zone restaurants only catering for delivery service pickups and not public pickups? I find it ridiculous myself. Simon, I can't really comment whether I think they're a good idea or not. The dark red zones have restrictions trying to stop people getting together. And at the moment, you can only get a delivery service to get a meal from a restaurant to your home. But at least you can still get fed. So, and the supermarkets are still open. Rents are dropping like a rock, says Beverly. Interesting, I've been trying to look at other properties around Phuket to rent for a new studio for the Thaiger. And no, the rents aren't dropping like a rock at the moment. Condos, offices, any sort of space, they're still very reluctant to discount their prices. That's what I can find anyway. Question, what rank does the 3 yellow stripes on the t-shirt sleeve designate? They're tiger scratches. Bob? Ha ha ha. I used to have those on the side of the car actually, but they sort of faded, so we just put a big logo on instead. Question, what is the reason you ended up in Thailand? Asks Carl. I've gone through this before, but I came here just over 10 years ago. I was actually doing a project whereby I was going to be selling yachts around the world, but it all fell through and I ended up with absolutely no money. So I decided to ring up a local radio station and offer my services. I started the next day, and the rest, as they say, is history. I will never go near a yacht again in my life. Sick Puppy says, Thais play hardcore when it comes to rent. You're absolutely right. There's no deals to be done, I've found. Incredible cheap compared to 2019 in Chiang Mai. Okay, great, Beverly, thanks for that. And if you've got any examples of rents you used to pay and rents you're now paying, we'd be happy to read those as well. Question, is the Thaiger actually your mic chewing cat? No. The Thaiger is Thaiger. It's not a Tiger. She looks more like a lion with that sort of furry front face. She's a very pretty little girl. Tail is huge tail. It's like it's got its own TV series. Shania Traveller back again, on the run from Melbourne, same as me. Not really on the run. I'm happy and able to go back to Melbourne any time, just that this is my home these days, and I enjoy the hot weather, I enjoy the food, I enjoy the culture, and even though there's 1,000 minor inconveniences, the big things, the big picture issues make it a very pleasant place for me to live here in Thailand. They eat dog in Cambodia. I'm not sure where that came from. You have a great voice, Tim. Thank you, M. Miranda. I didn't do much. Thank my parents and the DNA. Ben Hayes, Tim should get back to yachts and win the America's Cup for Australia and Thailand. I actually followed the America's Cup back in the 80s. I was reporting for the Macquarie Network in Australia. And don't chew on my shirts. I actually used to love the 12 metres and the whole going to Rhode Island in America and watching the mighty 12 metres race together, and the skippers who had real personality and were fun at press conferences. A very different situation these days with these new fast racing catamaran and trimarans. Totally different sort of racing. Don't really have any interest in it anymore. Please tell the next host not to chew on the mic in the next Good Morning Thailand. Yeah. You're a great host, announcer, commentator, personable, pleasant personality. Thanks, Anthony. I'm doing my best. Question, any sign of Pfizer or Moderna coming here? Yes, 1.5 million doses of Pfizer vaccine were donated by the Americans, by the US, and they are currently being rolled out. I think we had a report on the Thaiger.com. If you type in the Thaiger, Pfizer, it might be up there at the top, and you'll be able to click and read about that. And they show the numbers and where they're being used. I think mostly frontline medical workers at the moment. Okay, rents are negotiable, and I would be looking at 25% discount. Best get the Thai wife or girlfriend to negotiate for you. Yeah, that's a really good point. If you roll up looking like this, there's a little bit of ka-ching going through their heads, and it's best if you do get a Thai person to negotiate for you. You'll likely get a better result, and probably at least you can understand. Beautiful kitten, what colours? Oh, she's sort of the tortoiseshell colours, which is why we knew she was a girl, because I think the majority of tortoiseshell cats are girls. Just ended up sitting on the fence and meowing, and a tiny little kitten meow. Sat there for days, and we didn't want her. But here she is. We fed her once and that was it. Okay, blah, 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 from the chairman, another member. Well done, Tim. I think you and the Thaiger are doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Thank you. We are trying very hard with a very small team and doing our best despite the comments. Steve says, nobody knows where they are hiding the Pfizer. I think they do. As I said, we do have an article which announces where the Pfizer vaccines are being rolled out. Whether they're telling the truth or not, we're just passing on the news. And as I've said many, many times about the Thai government, particularly when it relates to COVID, I've found them to be scrupulously honest most of the time. And I've spoken to the spokespeople at the CCSA daily media conferences and found them to be very forthcoming and honest and transparent with any discussions or questions. Question, are fresh fruit vendors open in Phuket? Love the mangosteens. Yes. A lot of, if you go to some of the more popular areas, especially around, say, Phuket town, which is probably out of the whole island the most normal place to go to at the moment, you'll find plenty of fruit vendors and fresh fruit. I bought 2 beautiful mangoes yesterday. In fact, we've got 4 mango trees here in the garden, but they're just little mangoes. But during mango season, it's just raining mangoes, but one bite and they're gone. From Sick Puppy, back again. I blame my stupid US government for their no strings attached policy. Yeah, there have been some US citizens in Thailand, expats, who have been campaigning to be vaccinated by the US because they've been frustrated by the rollout by the Thai government. Not happening as far as I know. Question. Hi Tim, do you know if the Astra, that's AstraZeneca, that's being manufactured in Thailand is or will be recognised for the international COVID passport? Yes, absolutely sure that it will be, because the factory is under license by the AstraZeneca company. So I'm sure it will be recognised as a COVID vaccine in international passports. From Jeff Howard, forget about the bad comments, you're awesome. Oh, at least you think so, Jeff, and I appreciate it. From Hiroshi, the government equals scrupulously honest. Now I know for sure the Thaiger is monitored by the morality cops. Hiroshi, I'm just talking about the CCSA and the people who have been involved in the daily reporting of the COVID figures. They've taken me and shown me how they compile the figures, and I believe they're being very honest and transparent. I can only give you my impression because I've been there and I've spoken to them. I'm a fairly skeptical person. But Hiroshi, I actually believe that they're reporting this matter very honestly. Robert McDonald says, does anyone think youth of today are taking note of all world leaders' actions concerning the pandemic, what is working and what is not working, so when the next pandemic hits the world, handle it faster? I would say that we've all been guinea pigs over the past year and a half. Guinea pigs to the complete dysfunction of most governments in handling this. In some countries, it's become a political football. I cannot believe it, where the wearing of masks becomes a political issue rather than a medical issue or a scientifically based issue. So I think we've all been guinea pigs, and the governments around the world really have got to take a serious look at getting good scientists together to work out a way to handle the next pandemic and follow the science and not public opinion. That's the only way to limit these pandemics in the future. Written and spoken by Tim Newton. Question, is Tim worried about turning into a monkey? No, I'm not worried about turning into a monkey. There was some rumours that people who took the AstraZeneca were turning into monkeys, but it hasn't happened to me yet. I seem to be fat and unhairy as I was before. Okay, what have we got here? Send me around question, please promote my hi Tim, I would like to travel to Phuket, but I live in Bangkok and I'm not vaccinated. Do you have some tips? Well, you can't get into Phuket at the moment unless you're fully vaccinated. The only way to do it actually is to fly out of the country, then fly into Phuket as part of the Sandbox. But you're not vaccinated, so you can't get into Phuket at the moment. Lel, Azo, whether you want to or not, even if you are fully vaccinated, it's very difficult to get into Phuket unless you've got a specific reason. The gate at the Tat Chachai checkpoint is pretty much closed, and there's very few local domestic flights coming into Phuket at the moment. From Anthony. Hi, Anthony. Spot on, Tim. There's no rule book open about pandemics, but the politics of the pandemic has been disgraceful, and the citizens of the world are the victims of poor public policy. Couldn't agree more, Anthony. It's been a disgrace. And the behaviour, especially, I'm sorry to say, of the last presidency in America, not just the president, I'm talking about the whole public service. That situation could have been avoided. America didn't have to be the leader in COVID infections around the world. They could have handled that so much better. Easy for me to say from the outside looking in, but I think the last, what do you call it, the last presidential legislature didn't handle it well at all. But that's for the Americans to sort out. I'll let them vote on that matter in the future. A statement from Dirty Old Man. I've had 2 jabs with no side effects and I'm a hypochondriac. Yeah, I had no side effects from my first vaccination, and I'm glad to say that I'm feeling fine. And yeah, I mean, when I'm vaccinated, when I go out, I sort of feel like, okay, if I am going to catch COVID, I'm less likely to get very ill. I'm of an age group that I need to be concerned about getting or catching COVID. So at the moment, I'm happy to have the vaccine and looking forward to getting the other half of my AstraZeneca dose. Good show, Tim. Get a lot of info on Thailand from you and your staff. pretty honest reporting? We hope so. Excuse me. It's my AstraZeneca vaccine kicking in. I just wanted to mention, somebody had a go at us the other day about our reporting about the protests in Bangkok. The Thaiger really prides itself on good reporting and honest reporting when it comes to the situation of the protest last year in Bangkok and currently. Sometimes the reports are a bit more pro or the police or the protesters, depending on what's happened. But we've tried to be very clear and pretty much down the middle. Now, some of the other publications in Thailand, specifically like the Bangkok Post, who favours the government, and another one like Khalsod English, or Khalsod generally, which supports the protesters, have taken sides. We haven't taken sides, but some of our reporting sounds a bit more this way or a bit more that way. But if you look at our body of reporting about the protests, and we have reported it a lot, I think you'll find that we've been very right down the centre in regards. And when it comes down to it, it doesn't really matter who we favour. In fact, we can't. We are a foreign company and we are not here to change Thai politics. We're literally here just to report it as best we can. Okay. Tim, Tiger's doing a great job. Ignore the negative Nancy's. That's really difficult to say. Stephen, very difficult. Rusty Lid. I had my eyes operated on a couple of years ago, but today I'm finding it a bit difficult to focus. In Pattaya, there is a segment of the population that appears to be too delicate to wear masks. Sad to see so many challenged by frailty. Look, I have to say, when it comes to wearing masks, when I go out, I make sure I've got my keys and my wallet, and I've got to take a mask with me. Does that bother me? Not really. It's an inconvenience. It's a slight inconvenience. It doesn't stop me from breathing. I don't feel restricted in any way. Makes it a bit harder to recognise people immediately. But I honestly have to say that if you find wearing a mask an inconvenience or something that is holding you back to live your life fully, then you've got real problems. As far as Asia's concerned, Thais especially, they used to wear masks before we had the pandemic. Now, the wearing of masks, they will do it at a drop of a hat. They'll wear a mask a long time before they'll put a helmet on and get on a motorbike. So we're going to see the wearing of masks, I think, as a long-term trend in Asia and especially Thailand, even when and hopefully if the COVID-19 situation goes away. I think the wearing of masks is here to stay. Does that bother me? It's a minor inconvenience when there's a lot of other bigger things to worry about. Tim, mask wearing has been great. It's made me better looking. Yeah, me too, Stephen. Napster says, finding it difficult to focus because of the vax side effects. Yes, could be. The sprint. Steve's Thailand Adventure says, love what you do, Tim. Keep us expats informed every day. You work hard every day, even on public holidays. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. PT Tan says, I guess you either wear a mask now or a ventilator later. That's a fair comment. Denver Jordan has disappeared off my screen. Mark Robert says, Mark Robert, durian enthusiast, says, and mask wearing also conceals ghastly facial hair. If I don't shave for a week, I would look exactly the same as this. Wear a mask, especially during sex. Yes, apparently, if you are going to have sex, you have to wear a mask, according to the Thai government. So romantic. Question, I wonder what the unemployment rate in Thailand right now. There was, I think, a government released the other day saying that up to 1 million people could be unemployed by the end of the year. I think that number's probably more like 4 or 5 million. And Thailand's always prided itself for a very low unemployment rate. But there's no doubt that all the restrictions that the government's imposed, not only over the past 3 months, but over the past year, is having a profound effect on a lot of smaller businesses. Rusty Grave says there's a local beauty shop we go walking in a few times a week now. Loads of discarded masks littering. Yeah, littering of masks. If you are finished with your mask, put it somewhere where it's not going to be ending up on the streets or floating out into our oceans. The construction workers are starving because Tim hasn't handed over the Singapore dollars. Not really fair to say that they're still being fed by some remarkable people, and as I said, today we're trying to get that money to the people as soon as we can. Certainly there's no, we tried yesterday and there were some problems with getting the payments through, and we were just trying to get it sorted out. Believe me. X Music Studios LA, think of the healthcare professionals that have to wear a mask 14 hours plus per day. Yeah, the health professionals, of course, around the world for years have been wearing face masks as part of their daily uniform. And now some of the rest of the world is having to do the same. And if it's a convenience and a courtesy to other people around us, then that's the least we can do, surely. Okay, just on down here. Statement, watched an YouTube documentary on the increase of Thai suicides. Very sad time for Thailand. Shanayo Traveller, if you could send me, or send to info@thethaiger.com, a link to that documentary, I'd be interested to look at it, see if it correlates with the numbers we have. How are the Burma refugees in Thailand doing? They're doing it pretty rough. Cambodian and Burmese migrant workers are doing it tough. The ones that have lost their jobs may have been in tour organisations or in hospitality. They're certainly doing it hard, and the ones in the construction industry are now literally locked up in their camps, or if not, they go from their locked up camp to a locked up construction site every day and then ferried back in the evenings to their locked up camp. Pretty rough time for the migrant workers here in Thailand. I believe some 1.5 migrant workers currently working in Thailand, either registered or not. How are you faring with the current restrictions, Tim? Doug, it doesn't bother me. The restrictions are in place, but I use the food delivery services. I still go to my local supermarket once a week and I do a big buy and stock up the fridge. I still go out to restaurants. I go down to the beach when I get a chance. I've got my little pool out the back. So my life here in Thailand hasn't been hugely impacted, for which I'm very grateful that I'm able to work, that I'm able to help other people, and that I'm able to live a reasonably normal life. When will you be? It's gone. Well, Tim, for raising... I'm all for face mask wearing, says Poke Ken. Whilst we get over COVID, but I worry about the long-term impact on people's immune systems. Are we becoming codependent on the masks? Or a virologist, all I can say is that I know COVID, one of its sexy little tricks is that it attacks the immune system and it turns the immune system of its host against them, and it fills up their lungs and people literally drown. So having a strong immune system may not necessarily stop you from getting the virus, and it can be turned against you. But of course, being healthy and strong is always something you should be doing anyway to try and fend off the hundreds of other viruses and diseases that are out there. So being healthy and strong and taking precautions and being vaccinated and wearing a mask is all going to help. Do you listen to any other news outlets in Thailand, Tim? Do like the Irish bloke on Thai Expat News? Yeah, I mean, I listen to them, I monitor them. Some of them use our news services. Some of them read them without any credit. Doesn't really bother us. Good luck to them. Yeah, we listen to them, we follow them, we follow the trends, who's being successful, who's less successful. Yes, we do follow all the different news media because, well, we'd be silly if we didn't. They are our competitors and our peers, so yes, we do follow them. We'll probably wrap this up soon. My God, I've been nearly going for an hour. Check out Canadian musician couldn't enter US working visa. I don't think I need to talk about that. It's a respiratory disease. Yes, thank you, Anthony. Tim, that t-shirt is too boring. Oh, do you really think so? Look, it's black and it's slimming. That's all that matters. After Jesus died, God raised him from the dead so he could be forgiven. Blah, blah, blah. Thailand is finished as far as Western expats are concerned. This is a really interesting thing, JD. Will the tourists come back to Thailand? Will the travellers come back? Will the expats come back? Will people come back to Thailand to work? Will it be like it was before 2019? Again, I think you're right. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be a different tourism industry. It's going to be a lot smaller for a long time. But regarding people coming to Thailand to work and to live, I think that will continue because the country still has a lot going for it. And I hope and I think that the Thai authorities will probably start to make life a little bit easier for travellers and tourists trying to get here. Let's hope. Sick Puppy says, life will return to normal, folks. It's a pandemic. Just relax and wait. Patience is a virtue. And I think with that, I'll say thank you very much for joining us on the Queen Mother's birthday here in Thailand. It's Mother's Day. We hope you've enjoyed the last hour. I've really enjoyed coming into your homes or being part of your life for that last hour. We'll be back with a normal Good Morning Thailand, a program that is slowly morphing and changing, and we'll get back to that tomorrow. I'll be doing another slimmed down version of sort of a Thailand News Today Light this afternoon with all the latest headlines. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining us this morning here from Thailand as we kick over 10 a.m. on the island of Phuket. Have a fantastic day and we look forward to seeing you soon. Now I've got to figure out how to stop this. Do I press that? Do I press that? I press that.